Hey guys, welcome to the Vendors B2B Summit. Today we have another very special international speaker. Her name is Trish Bertuzzi. For those who don't know Trish, she's the CEO of the Bridge Group. They help B2B technology companies build world-class inside sales teams. Since '98, they helped over 320 companies build, expand, and optimize inside sales. She's also author of the bestseller, The Sales Development Playbook, and I have the link of the book uh, here below. And he contributed to the Salesforce Sales Thought Leadership Program, sharing insights through their blog and thought leadership events. Trish, thank you very much and welcome to the summit.
I am super excited. This is great. Brazil, how you doing? We're freezing here. How are you?
Yeah, right now it's pretty hot here. As I,
Oh,
as I told you
freezing.
before, as I told you before, you should come to Brazil.
We can talk about that later.
Trish, could you fill some gaps about your intro and tell us a little bit about your background?
I'm not sure my background is that interesting anymore. Because I've been running the Bridge Group for 20 years. So why don't I tell you a little bit about the Bridge Group, right? So I founded the Bridge Group in 1998. Since then, we've worked with over 380, actually the number went up, B2B technology companies. We are focused primarily, though not exclusively, on the B2B tech space. And really what we help people do is unleash the power of inside sales, whether that's for sales development, whether it's for inside sales, which to us means quota carrying, or whether it's companies that are looking to implement an account-based strategy. We call it ABR, for account-based revenue. So those are sort of our three big buckets.
Great. So let's do it. By far, the question I received the most here in Brazil about sales development is if they should have or not SDRs in their companies. In your experience, what are the criteria for making this decision of having or not inside sales team?
That's actually a great question because God knows I love sales development, hence the book, but I don't think it's right for everyone. So you've got to think about it from what you're trying to accomplish. So if you have a complex sales process where your sales reps need to really spend a lot of time developing that relationship as trusted advisors, they do a lot of demos, there's a significant amount of selling to what you do, they're going to do that and they're going to ignore building pipeline, right? So if that's the case, you most assuredly should add sales development as part of your strategy. Flip side of the coin, your high transaction, high volume, let's move, let's groove kind of solution. Well, your buyer doesn't want to get shuffled from Sam to Sue and then to account management, right? So you got to think about your buyer's journey. So in that instance, I would probably recommend do not have a sales development team and just train your AEs on how to qualify in and qualify out pretty quickly.
Okay. Do you have a length of sales cycle or a ticket size that is a good reference, or it's not that simple? It's a lot of variables.
There you go. See my sign?
Yeah.
Variables matter. Oh, actually, variables matter. I can't tell which way you're seeing it. But anyway, yeah, there's always variables in any strategic decision. So for sure, think it through.
Okay. Recently here in Brazil, we started to talk about sales cadences, powered by a lot of Brazilian sales tech startups and that are having technology for cadences. And we start to see companies creating their outreach cadences, but they struggle for a lack of framework to create this cadence. How many touches, which channels, so on. How do you do with your clients? How you define a cadence with the company? What are the variables that we should consider?
Yeah, so I mean, you have to think about who you're trying to reach. How easy are they to get to? You know, C-suite would be one cadence, manager level might be another cadence. Sales guy might be tougher to touch, so that require a longer cadence. Someone who sits at their desk all the time, easier to touch, maybe a shorter cadence. So I think those are the kinds of things you need to think through. And then you have to think through the story you're trying to tell them. Like, is it a simple story or is it a complex story? If it's simple, you can get it out there and a bunch of short touches and it's either go, no go, that's one thing. But if it's more complex and you really have to share information and create a vision, that might be more touches using more different types of medium or media, however you want to refer to it. That's a different type of cadence. So I love the fact that what you used, you put two vendors in one sentence. Did you see that? You said outreach, which is a vendor, and you said cadence, which is a sales left term. So you got them both in. So good for you.
Okay. Recently, on a workshop, Jaco van der Kooi, one of our speakers, taught us a concept that is 4 + 1 is greater than 5, where the SDRs and the sales reps should dedicate 20% of their time on training. That if they work 4 days and train for 1 day, you get a better result than working 5 days.
Does Jaco sell training by any chance? Yeah. All right. So, and by the way, huge fan of his. Huge fan of him and his work. So
my question is, 20% is too much?
Well, it's a lot. Think about it.
Well,
okay. Think about it this way. From a company perspective, let's think about how realistic that is. And it really depends on how Jaco's defining training. Because if he's throwing coaching into that, maybe not so much. But if he's talking about like going to webinars, reading, sitting in classrooms, I mean, that ain't ever going to happen. Right? No company's going to go, yeah, I'll pay you for 4 days. And on the 5th day, I'm going to teach you how to be so much better that you leave me. Like, what?
In our context in Brazil, we don't have like really people like inside sales professionals. The people that are more mature are doing for a few years. So I think in this context, we really need training and coaching because it's something new for everybody here.
So once again, I'm sitting here with no context. I don't know what Jaco was referring to specifically. Do I think, if he's talking about brand spanking new first job out of college SDRs, and you're willing to make that level of investment in them, 20% is a lot. First of all, 20%, if anyone was trying to coach me 20% of the time, I'd be like, get away from me, right? Get out of my face. Let me figure some of this out. But I have no context, so.
But even in our context here in Brazil, as I told you, everybody's learning this craft together. Like it's something new for us, and I really think that we need more training here than you guys over there. But I thought 20% was too much too. But I just wanted.
Oh, you better get Jaco to Brazil. Jaco better start selling in Brazil, right?
Yeah, but yeah, they have right now winning by design here in Brazil too.
There you go.
Another thing that you told a little bit before was about account-based.
Yeah.
In the past years, there was a lot of talking about account-based sales development or account-based revenue, as you say. But there's still a lot of confusion in the market. I love one of your articles where you differentiate account-centric and account-based selling. Could you tell us what are the main differences?
Sure. So account-centric selling is when you take a set of accounts and you draw a box around them, but then you still do the same old, same old. You're still having your SDRs hammer at them, trying to send introductory meetings for your AEs. You're still sending them all that crappy content, which content is the new spam, by the way. So you're still trying to do that to get them to raise their hands. You really didn't change anything other than you drew a box around a specific set of accounts. Flip side of the coin, account-based. Account-based is an organizational strategy where the entire organization, not just the SDRs and the AEs, but marketing and sales executives and the C-suite and everybody says, we're going to go get our revenue from this very specific set of accounts for this very specific, that's a hard word, specific set of reasons. and you create a strategy that says, we're going to surround this account with such valuable content and information and interactions that they're actually going to raise their hands and say, I want to talk to you. It's a very different way of leveraging relationships, about thinking about how you're going to partner with someone, because you should be partnering with your customers, and about how you're going to put all your eggs in one basket around a specific set of well thought out accounts in your entire go-to-market strategy. So it's not old school demand gen, it's truly an account-based strategy.
And it's only applicable for really big accounts. What do you think? Do you have also, what is the variable you think about when deciding doing or not account-based strategy?
So I have a rule of thumb. People agree with me, people disagree with me. I'm right, you're wrong if you disagree with me. But I think you have to have an average order size to make it worth it. And to me, because it's a lot of work. So to me, that number is 50,000. I could be right, I could be wrong. There could be other reasons for being willing to sink in that level of investment. You know, maybe you're breaking into a new market, or you have a new product. That might also be reasons. But for me, if you're going to go there, you need to get an ROI out of that that's either strategic or revenue based. So that's my magic number.
People love the magic numbers. You're always trying to get those. One more question, and something that people always ask me too. What qualities make a good SDR? In your experience, what are the key characteristics, personality traits, qualities that will make someone a good SDR?
Yeah, so I think the number one trait that I look for is curiosity. Like, why would you hire someone who's not curious about what you do? Why would you hire someone who's not curious about the industries you sell into? Why would you hire someone who's not curious about your buyer's job, how they're measured, what their challenges are? You know, if you're just going to hire someone to be a dial monkey, go use bots, right? But if you want to hire someone to actually have conversations as opposed to just conversions, then hire someone who's curious. That's the number one thing. There's a whole study on grit. I love that. There's that. Obviously, they have to be articulate, thick-skinned. There's all that. But curiosity is the number one.
Do you think that is an entry-level job? Or because here in Brazil, we're seeing a lot of companies implementing SDR as a way to low the CAC, the cost of acquisition. Is that a good strategy, or depending on the kind of accounts that accounts try to?
If you implement it well, it might lower your cost of acquisition. If you implement it poorly and your SDRs are horrifying your potential buyers, it raises your cost of acquisition. So I think it's all in the devil's in the details.
Great. One last question.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking a lot here about response time in inside sales. How important is response time in a an inside sales operation?
It depends. Wow. So if it's someone who says, contact me, or signs up for a trial or a demo, response time matters. If someone who downloads a white paper, I mean, you don't want to let it sit there for days, but I don't think response time matters that much. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure there are research studies that will prove me different, but they're crappy.
Why?
I mean, you know.
They're crappy.
Think about it. When you download a white paper and then your phone rings, I'm like, can I take a breath? Can I look at it? Can I read it? Can I give me a break? Calling to see if you have any questions. Yeah, I have a question. Why are you calling me? Right? You know what they say to that? That's what they say, because they're not prepared to actually answer the question. So yeah, I think response, like anything else, variables matter. It depends on what you're responding to.
Great. Trish, Brazil is a really new market for inside sales. So would you want to leave a last piece of advice for people who are trying or beginning to implement an inside sales operations? What is the first thing that they have to think about and consider while implementing it?
Go to Amazon and buy my book. That's one. Did we mention that? The Sales Development Playbook? Just in case we didn't, I thought I'd mention it again. What do they need to think about?
We're going to put a link.
You're the best. You're the best. I don't know. Think about, there's so many things to think about. There's process, there's message, there's becoming a partner to your buyers. There's, nobody wants to see anyone face to face anymore. Like, that's a gross exaggeration. But the days of people needing, let me put it that way, needing to see one to develop a relationship are gone. Look at us, right? Video is amazing. So I think you really have to think your way through what you're trying to accomplish and then figure out if inside sales could work for you.
Great. Trish, thank you very much for your time, for accepting our invite. It was a pleasure to have you on the summit. Where people can go to find more about you and the Bridge Group?
Yeah, so our website is bridgegroupinc.com, and I have a very vocal voice on Twitter, and that is at Bridge Group Inc.
Perfect. Trish, thank you very much, and I'm really hoping to see you here in Brazil soon.
Well, I would do just about anything to get out of this frozen tundra we call Massachusetts, so I will take that under consideration.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.